Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey. I'm from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com, though that technically wasn't true much of the day yesterday. Yesterday, if you did visit Plagiarism Today, you probably noticed some pretty significant site issues. There were at various points, the site ranged from being completely offline, to being super slow, to being readable, but in like the super borked, like the CSS is broken kind of space. And I wanted to talk about what happened, and I wanted to sort of give a shout out to my host in this matter, Servint, for their great work. They did a wonderful job in getting me back online and getting this situation fixed. But basically, what happened is, and I've talked about this a couple other videos, but basically it's been a continuation, ongoing problem with me, with my site rather, because what's been going on is the memory and the CPU usage of Plagiarism Today, of the server, the VPS I'm on, would just jump drastically out of nowhere. It would hit out of nowhere. It would cause, at first it was causing, this weeks and months ago, it was causing memory out issues. Basically I was running out of memory on it, and it was causing my theme, Headway, sort of hit a wall, and the theme would break. It's a database driven theme. It usually loads pretty quick because it has great internal caching. And also you couple that with W3 total cache, you pretty much never use the actual database, but it would hit this wall, and the database that was sort of housing the theme would get corrupted and have options set wrong, etc., and that would cause the site to look terrible. And that was pretty ugly, but that was a fairly minor problem, and I ended up upping the amount of RAM in there, because truth be told, we were kind of living on the razor's edge anyways, and it was a good idea to go ahead and take it up a notch on the RAM. And we did that, and we now have, plenty of room. We're on a 2 gig server, and I think I only use normally a little bit over 1 gig of RAM. In fact, normally it's like between 9 and 1.1. Talk about that razor's edge. We were on a 1 gig server. So that was a good move, and it definitely made these problems much less common, but they still came up from time to time. And yesterday it happened particularly bad. I noticed it when I went to go do a post for PT, and a lot of my options that I have for doing posts, like setting up the template for the 3 count column, were not available to me. The database was not working correctly. I could tell it was a problem. I looked into it. Sure enough, the site was in deep trouble. The theme was not working. The site was loading slow. It was pretty much a catastrophe. So I got on a trouble ticket with Servint. Basically, this turned into a chat, and I want to thank Servint, especially Dave K, who I don't know his full name. That's all I know of him, but he was the one. He was the escalated support guy who, for 6 hours yesterday, was monitoring my server, and during moments of crisis was chatting with me and helping me get this back online. His dedication to solving this was incredible, probably even greater than my own. I was absolutely stunned by the amount of time and energy he spent on this. But anyways, went back and forth, and this is one of those problems. It's a bit like trying to find Bigfoot, because you can spend days in the woods covered in whatever you think is going to attract. I have no idea what would attract Bigfoot. Okay, I just don't. But you can spend days in the woods with binoculars, staring at the trees, trying to find Bigfoot, and even when you do think you see something, you probably didn't, and when you do find what you're looking for, it's probably something completely different. You're not actually going to find Bigfoot. And that's exactly pretty much what happened. We finally found what we were looking for. He finally caught one of the spikes as it happened, real time, and he discovered that the actual problem wasn't with Plagiarism Today. It was actually on a site that I host, one of my old personal blogs that I kept around, or I should say, for posterity, but I haven't really done anything with it in like 2 years or more. But I've kept it up to date, updated the core files, updated the plugins. Everything's up to date and up to speed, but I really haven't done anything with it. Well, looks like one of the plugins went awry on it, and it was causing these. Every time someone would visit it, it would cause a bunch of unneeded calls, and the long story short, it would ramp up the CPU. First it was hitting the memory first, and then after we upped the memory, it was hitting the CPU first, and it was causing some pretty serious server issues, including the database problems that was, and the cache corruption issue that was causing Plagiarism Today corrupt. That's the working theory, at least. We haven't confirmed it yet, but if I go another week without a problem, and believe me, my memory usage and CPU usage have dropped significantly since we made the changes, So if we go a week without problems, I'm going to consider this one more or less done. And that's pretty cool because it's been, like I said, a deal now for several months now. In fact, I had a pretty nasty corruption while I was in England at the 5th International Plagiarism Conference that really upset me then. But PT is in good health now. It's in good health thanks to the nice people at Servint, Servint. Definitely, they've been a great host to me, reasonably priced VPSs, and great support. Love them. Thanks again to them. And I guess the word of warning here is if you host multiple sites on a VPS like I do, it's not enough to make sure they are up to code and up. You've done your security stuff. You've got to go the extra mile and make sure that you remove old plugins that haven't been updated and things like that. And I ended up just simply suspending that account on my server. It's gone. The site is wiped out. I've still got all the database and all that stuff. I'm gonna make a decision what to do with it this weekend. But for the next few days, the site's totally offline, and it won't be coming back until I make a decision on how I can bring it back and if I'm going to invest the time and energy to do it properly. On that note, everyone, that's what's been going on with PT. Very sorry to those of you that had to put up with the outages yesterday. I know actually it was a pretty big day for traffic. The 5 famous plagiarist posts seem to be doing pretty well, but sorry to those of you who had to put up with that. And until tomorrow, where we'll be talking about browsers and copyright news, taking a day off from the copyright and plagiarism and now PT news, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.